What's up, guys? Welcome to Tarkov 101, Episode 1. In this series, we are going to talk about everything Tarkov, from the very beginning to the very end, or at least we'll see as far as we can get on this wipe. I'm not sure when the wipe's going to happen and how much of this I'm going to be able to do. But we're going to go from the very beginning, hideout management, how the traders work, how to do tasks, what items do, what meds do, literally everything Tarkov. And if you're a brand new player of the game, this is the series for you. I'm really excited about this. We're really pulling out all the stops for this whole video series, and I could not be more excited to do it. But without further ado, court is now in session. All right, guys. So the first thing you're going to do when you install Tarkov is you're going to get to this Escape From Tarkov game terms. It's basically just going over everything that you need to know about Tarkov. Welcome to Escape From Tarkov. In this game, you'll have to fight for your life and survive the perils of Tarkov, a Russian city in the blah blah region of the brink of chaos and collapse. Your character is an operator of a private military company, PMC, caught in the maelstrom of events right after the contract wars. The area is sealed off and your operation command is not responding. Former mission objectives have lost their purpose. Everyone has personal goals now. Adapt and survive. Escape the blockade or try to save others. Be prepared to die and lose everything you have with you in every raid that you enter. Keep in mind that every drop in your internet connection or network hardware malfunction can lead to disconnect from the game, with the consecutive death of your character and loss of all gear you have with you found within your raid. So basically, if you die, you lose all your shit. It's pretty simple. And that's what's great about Tarkov, you guys. If you have never played it before, just know this game is extremely hard. The learning curve is the hardest that I've ever experienced in a video game. Dark Souls doesn't have anything on this because you have a player aspect. So it also says, yes, you will die, and probably very often. But remember, this is still a game. Best of luck to you out there. And trust me, you guys, you need lots of luck in Tarkov. Luck has a lot to do with it. So we're going to pick English, obviously. And then this is where you're going to pick your name, get 15 characters, pick whatever you want. Don't be a douche. That's all I say. So you can pick USEC or Bear. Bear is the Russian PMC. So he will have Russian voice comms, and the USEC, you'll have English comms. So they start off with slightly different gear. The USEC will have an M4. The Bear has an AK. I prefer the USEC. I like the gear better. I think it's better. It's just my personal opinion. We're going to go with USEC. Here you can pick your face as well as your voice. I don't think it actually lets you. Yeah, it doesn't let you actually do it. But we're just going to pick Michael and go with Hudson, the ape-looking guy. Kind of look cross-eyed a little bit, which is cool. It's totally cool. So then you'll wait in, and this will load us into the main screen of the game. And we're going to go over all of our settings and just how this game works. Okay, so once you guys load in, you're going to have Escape from Tarkov, character, trading, hideout, exit. Don't exit just yet. You'll want to after your first raid. Trust me, but not yet. Down on the bottom, you have a tab down here. You have handbook, messenger, all that fun stuff. You're going to go to the bottom right, hit settings. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up your controls, your post FX, and your graphics. Now, I am going to post a link in the description of the video. We'll also have it pop up here in the video if you guys want to do it that way. I'm not going to redo this, as I already have a video that shows everything that you need to know here. We're going to go over a few things, but not the entire thing. That would take forever. So here you can change your name every, I think, 2 weeks if you want to. So interface language, English, obviously, or whatever you prefer. The main menu background, you can pick what it looks like. So this just changes the background. I just do random. Click slots, you're going to want to have at always shown, unless you want complete immersion. If you want complete immersion of the game, always hidden is good. But if you're learning the game, I highly recommend doing always shown for all of these. That way, when we get into raid, I'll show you what that will do and why that's doing that. The health color scheme, I always would say do colored. That's definitely going to be your best option. Highlight available operations. You're going to want to do everything on that one. Notification channels type, always do WebSocket, guys. This will fix a lot of bugs that you're going to experience in this game. This game is in beta, so you will have bugs, you will have problems. Just deal with them. That's the best advice I can give you. I deal with them every day. That's what I recommend you do. You're going to want to turn on auto RAM cleaner. Turn off use only the physical cores. Field of view 63 or 64. Those are your sweet spots. Don't go all the way up to 75. It's really going to mess some stuff up. This has a different field of view than most games. Most field of view is width. This is height. So 64, 63, that's going to be your sweet spot. Head bobbing, you're going to want to put at 0.2. Graphic settings, like I said, go through. I mean, you can see what they have here. If you guys want to pause it and not go to the other video, that's fine. You can do that. This is what I have. I have a 2080 Ti. I have a very good computer, and I do run in 1440. If you run 1080p, you should be able to use these settings as well. Post FX, once again, enable these. This is going to really help you out. See, these settings are absolutely fantastic. Every monitor is different, but I recommend starting here. Sound, the biggest thing we're going to go into is your interface volume. Turn it down to 10. You do not want your interface volume all the way up. I'll go into that further in detail once we do a raid here in a minute. But chat volume, music volume, and hideout volume, that's all up to you. I would recommend turning the hideout volume all the way down. That way you don't have, in the middle of a raid, when something's completed, it'll be like, rah, 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 and it'll freak you out. Just trust me, hideout volume at least 10. I turned mine all the way down because I don't like hearing it. So we'll go ahead and save there. Now, here is your guys' inventory. This is the EOD version. I went ahead and used this one because I already had one. If you guys bought the standard account, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a hell of a lot smaller and a lot less stuff that you get at the very beginning. I highly, highly recommend getting the standard account when you first buy this game and then upgrade to the EOD. You won't lose anything. You can literally upgrade it at any time. It's actually a really, really cool setup the way that they have it. That's what I recommend everyone do. So the first thing you guys are going to want to do is go down here to this button right here. This is called the auto sort button. This is a new feature. This will automatically sort everything and put all your ammo on top, and then grenades, and then magazines, and then meds, and then attachments and guns. This is extremely, extremely helpful. It's one of the best features that they've added since I've started playing. I greatly appreciate it. I mean, it's helped me out tremendously at the beginning of the life. What we did there is you can actually add attachments to, so this is a Remington 300 millimeter ring mount. I can actually add the scope to that. So now it can be mounted onto a weapon on this M700. It's a little tidbit on actually modifying weapons pretty early on, but I just wanted to get that out of the way because it was bothering me, to be honest. Okay, so what we have here is, let's just kind of go over meds. I don't even think we're going to go into a raid today. I mean, we might go into an offline raid, but we're just going to go over the very, very basics. Okay, so in Tarkov, this is not Call of Duty. You actually have to fill your mags with ammo. So every gun has a certain ammo type, obviously, just like in real life. So if you know anything about weapons in real life, this is basically as close as you can get to real life in a game. So for instance, this is M855. This is a okay ammo. It is not good, but it's not bad. It's not garbage. It's okay. It'll definitely heal. What you're going to look at for your ammo is penetration level and your health damage or damage. Penetration level is going to determine if it's going to penetrate armor. The health damage obviously damages the health. So the armor, like this P.A.K.A. is a level 2 armor. It's not going to stop very high pen ammos, but it will protect you a little bit from like shotgun shells, other things of that nature. So when you take damage, the biggest thing you need to worry about is your thorax and your head. Your head has 35 health, thorax has 85. If you get shot in the head, you're pretty much always going to die. If you get shot in the thorax a couple times and it goes to 0, you're dead. You can black out your right arm, left arm, stomach, and both legs. As long as your thorax and your head are not blacked, you'll be fine. There is one variant of this. You can black out your thorax or your head from bleeding and not die. That's happened to me very frequently. But as soon as you take any damage to the blacked out thorax or head, you will die instantly. So even if you take damage on your arm, it could radiate to your thorax and then you're dead. So you do need to watch out for that. We've kind of briefed over on ammo and magazines, and every gun's different. Every gun has different ammunition, different magazines, different required attachments, all sorts of things like that. So if I take my M4 down here, if I take the pistol grip off of it, it turns red, right? I can take the magazine out and now it's really small. This is a unusable weapon. That is why it is red, because it doesn't have a pistol grip. You would not be able to fire this weapon in real life without seriously damaging yourself, as it doesn't. I mean, honestly, you probably could, but that's the way the game operates, right? So, I mean, if you had the mag in there, you can hold on to the mag, I guess, but it'd be kind of awkward. But so that's how you see a lot of streamers, myself included. I'll pull out the mag and then bam, it takes out a hell of a lot less room. Here is fuel. Fuel will be put into your hideout, and we're going to go over that a little bit later, but those are important. You can stack your backpacks in raid as well as in your hideout. In your hideout, you have infinite amount that you can stack. So you can take your day pack, put it inside of your other day pack, and it stacks and it saves space. These are tactical rigs. Tactical rigs are needed if you have magazines, at least 2 slot magazines. So say if I was to run a pistol, say I was running this pistol and I did not have a tactical rig, I would still be able to unequip and put it in my pocket. You can only quick heal or reload from your pockets or your tactical rig. You cannot reload a magazine from your backpack if you are in game. So if I hit R for reload in game and I don't have any magazines inside of my rig, nothing will happen. You would have to go into the inventory, hit tab, and go into the inventory like we are here. So you have to take that into factor, because the weapon that you use is going to depend on what type of rig that you have. So if you have a magazine that takes up 3 slots, which we don't have any here at the moment, and you have a rig that only holds 2 slots, you're not going to be able to reload that without dropping your magazine. And that's not something you want to do inside of a raid. If you're in the middle of a firefight, you're dropping magazines, that's never good. Okay, so let's go into a brief overview of meds. Augmentin. This is an Augmentin antibiotic pills. Down here, it tells you the use time. It removes pain for 150 seconds. Gives you +5 energy, -5 hydration. Removes toxication, and it improves the skill immunity by 1. Basically, this is just a painkiller. If you get a blacked out leg, if you break an arm, if you break your legs, this will allow your character to continue to run, to not have a blurred vision, all of the side effects of having a broken bone in this game. This is a bandage. This is one of the most basic healing items of the game. It does one thing, and one thing only. It stops light bleeds. Now, once again, when we go into an actual raid, we will go over what a light bleed is, what it looks like, what a heavy bleed is, what it looks like, all of that type of stuff. But we're just going to go over your meds and all that right now while we have a chance to do that. This is a splint. Once again, this is a very basic item. This does one thing, and that is removes fracture. So as I said before, your character can get shot and break a bone, break a leg, break an arm, whatever. This will fix that completely for the raid, and you won't ever have to worry about it again, which is a nice little feature for that. This as well is an army bandage. It's the same thing as a regular bandage. It just has 2 uses. All it does is fix light bleeds. That's all it does. And then once again, this is the exact same thing as a regular splint, but once again, this has 5 uses versus this only has 1. This is a CMS kit. So when you black out, say if you have your left leg and you get shot in the left leg a few times and you have 0 of 65, that'll be blacked out, and you will need to use a CMS kit or a surgical kit to be able to heal that limb. So basically what we call it is you got to staple on your leg, right? Because he'll do this whole interaction, click, 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 and then he'll put on the CMS kit, or you'll use the CMS kit, and then you'll have 1 HP out of 62 or whatever it will be. And then that'll allow you to be able to use something like this AI2 med kit. I call them cheeses because they look like cheese over here on the inventory here. These have a 100 HP. So basically what this does is, like I said, if you blacked out your leg, it would be 1 out of 65 or whatever. And then you would be able to use the cheese and you'd be able to heal the HP on that. That's what these are used for. S-March is a heavy bleed. This is the exact same thing as a regular bandage, except this fixes heavy bleeds and this fixes light bleeds. And then once again, this is a hemostat. This is the same thing as this. It just has 3 uses, and it's a little bit faster use time, 3 seconds versus 2. So these are much more valuable than these, in my opinion. Here we have an IFAK, personal tactical first aid kit. It's exactly what you would think it does. It'll restore 300 HP. It takes 3 seconds to use. It can stop light bleeds and it can stop heavy bleeds. Those take a certain amount of HP. So heavy bleeds take 210 HP. Light bleeds take 300 HP or 30 HP. Excuse me. And it takes 3 seconds to use it. Those are very handy. I really like IFAKs. Normally, I will run on my chat account that I have Kappa, which will go over what Kappa is way later on into this series. But I'll run with a Salua, an IFAK, and a Hemostat. That's normally what I go into a raid with, and a Protitol, but it's for another day. So a Salua is the exact same thing as an IFAK, but it actually will be able to heal 400 HP. It stops light bleeds and it stops heavy bleeds, and it takes 3 seconds to use. So basically it's the same thing, except for it's a 2-slot item, and it will stop 2 heavy bleeds versus only stopping 1, like this one. This is the car first aid kit. This is, in my opinion, one of the most useless heals in the game. It's 2-slot, and it's not as good as an IFAK, and it's not as good as a Salua, and it's not as good. But it'll, in a pinch, it does work out fine. So it is 220 HP. It'll be able to heal, and it'll stop light bleeds for 50 HP of that. Once again, same attributes as like an IFAK or a Salua, but it's just not as good. The Grizzly. This bad boy has 1,800 HP. It takes 5 seconds to use, so a little bit longer, but it will stop light bleeds, it will stop heavy bleeds, and it will remove fractures, it removes contusions, and it removes radiation exposure, which we don't have yet in the game yet. So that'll be a later feature that we can go into. So Grizzlies are pretty awesome to have. A lot of people run a Grizzly in their butt at the beginning of the wipe. It's a solid option. I like being able to hotkey my meds, but to each their own. This is a Protitol, and Protitols are a syringe type mechanism. So you'll be like, inject it straight into the bloodstream. It takes 2 seconds to use. It removes pain for 240 seconds, which is a painkiller. It removes contusion, same thing. It restores health for 300 seconds. Now, this is the big one. It does 1 health every 300 seconds, so it will essentially heal 300 HP by the time that it's done. Automatically, you don't have to do anything. So this is a fantastic thing to use right before a fight. Now, it does have some other So skill metabolism plus 20, skill health plus 20, skill vitality plus 20. We'll go into those skills on a later episode, but absolutely fantastic thing to use. It does give you a hand tremor and a tunnel effect for 30 seconds after 270 seconds. So once it's done doing the painkiller, 30 seconds later, it does hand tremor and tunnel effect, which we'll go into those effects later on, and we'll show you guys that stuff as well. This is a Cold Fear infrared balaclava. It's just basically a face cover. That's literally to look cool, in my opinion. These really aren't necessary. This is a shotgun. Obviously, here's some different guns, but this is Tashanka. You do need to worry about your food and drink. So down here on the bottom left where I just deleted myself, you have your weight, which is right here, which we are currently at 20 kilograms, 0.1 at a 75. When this gets into the yellow, that means that you're overweight, and you don't want to be overweight, chat. Right here is your HP level, 440 out of 440. And here's your hydration and food, which is what we're going to go over now. Once this stuff goes down inside of a raid, you need to eat and you need to drink. There are all sorts of different food and drinks. We're not going to go into all of them. But basically, each one has a certain amount of increased energy and hydration. Some of them have negative effects as well, so you need to watch out for that. Moving along, we have headsets. Now, right off the bat, it gives you 3 different options as a USEC. You have the Walker Razor digital headset. You have a Pelter Tactical Sport headset. You have your Comtacs. Okay, out of these 3, I think either the Walkers or the Tactical Sport headsets are the best. It's literally personal preference, you guys. This is all personal preference. It does not matter which ones you like best. Whatever you get used to. It's kind of like, use the same thing. I use different stuff. Audio is very important in this game, just so you guys are aware. Always be paying attention. Always wear a headset when you can, if you can afford it. It's very important. I highly recommend always using a headset. This is a helmet. This is level 4 with a high ricochet chance, which is a fairly solid helmet. What you want to look for in a helmet is your ricochet chance and your armor class. Like I said, this is level 4. It'll go up to level 6, and then high is the highest. So that's actually a fairly good headset. So we go ahead and put on the helmet and the razor. The way that I put this back into my inventory quickly like that and put it onto my character quickly like that just by clicking is when I'm putting it back into my inventory, I'm hitting Control left click. When I'm putting it back on my character, I'm hitting Alt left click. And that is how you can do that in a raid. You can do that literally at any point in time. Melee weapon, you don't really need one. You're probably never going to use it. It is ineffective and it's very hard to do. So I would recommend just doing that. This is your secure container. This is a big one, guys. Make sure you take your notes on this one. I have a gamma here because of I have the EOD edition. You probably will start out with an alpha, which is 4 slots, but everything that you put inside of here, if you die, you get to keep. So when you find very high value items, LEDXs, graphics cards, Tetrises, things like that, which we'll go into later on why they're valuable and all that, you're going to want to put them in your secure container. So that pretty much covers this portion of the hideout. What we need to go into now is the trading section. Now, I am not going to do this right now, but as you guys can see, some of these items are blacked out. What you guys are going to want to do is click your mouse button on every single one of these to examine. If you notice in your bottom right corner of your screen, a little thing says items examined PS plus 10 XP, plus 10 XP, plus 10 XP. So you can literally do this at the very beginning and get all the way up to level 2. We're actually going to I'm going to do this really quick and we're just going to fast forward through it. Okay, so this is Prapper. Prapper is a very useful trader. Up here on the top left, you have how much money he has, 80 million. All that really doesn't matter. What matters here is right here. This is his reputation with him. He's at 0.20, which is neutral, which is good. To be able to up his actual reputation with you, you need to do tasks. But before we go into that, we'll come over here. So our current attitude is level 1, and our next loyalty level is level 2. We need to be at level 15. We are currently at level 1, and we need to have spent 750k with him. So to be able to spend money with him, you need to either sell an item, say P.E.K.K.A. This would be 11k, 11,419. So if we'd hit deal here, which we're not going to do, this would go up. We can actually just do, let's just do this. We'll buy this. So now we spent 2.1k up here, and we need to get to 750 to be able to get to level 2. But we also need to get his reputation up. Actually, we don't on this one. It's just, we're fine right here. But we do need to do tasks. Tasks are going to be able to unlock different items that you can buy, just all sorts of different stuff. Tasks are very important in this game. It's going to help you level up. So you'll hit accept, and we need to kill 5 scavs on customs and hand over 2 MP133 shotguns. Scavs are AI characters. They are fairly easy to kill once you get good at the game, but at first it's going to be difficult. And sometimes some scavs are better than others. I call them gangster scavs. Those scavs you need to watch out for. A lot of times I'll just run away because they're damn near impossible to kill because they're freaking insane. But that's proper to start off with. So we need to kill 5 scavs on customs and hang over 2 MP133 shotguns. This is the therapist. Once again, we're going to examine all of these really quickly. But this is who you're going to buy meds from. You're going to be able to buy food from. Basically all of those types of items. She's aptly named, therapist, right? So once again, we need to spend 400k with her and get to level 13 to be able to level up hers. And she is a very, very easy one to level up as far as with spending money, because she buys a lot of items that you're going to have and they're worth quite a bit of money. Quite frankly, she has some great stuff because you're going to want to be able to buy Saluas. You're going to want to be able to buy eye packs. It's important to level her up. So for shortage, we're going to need to find in raid or craft in the hideout 3 Salua kits. And we're going to go into the hideout here shortly. And then we're going to need to hand over those 3 kits to the therapist. Fence, you can sell anything to Fence, but you're not going to get very much money. Fence is pretty much useless up until the last task to get Kappa. As I'm talking, I'm going to examine just to further along that. If you have a broken armor, so it's useless, it's 0 out of 15. Instead of repairing it and selling it to Ragman, you'll just sell it to Fence just to get it out of your inventory. When you sell something to Fence, it goes up into the Fence side here. So literally anyone can buy the items that you sell to Fence at a much higher price, but you can do that. Don't buy stuff from Fence unless it's like guns and stuff. Most of the time, honestly, you guys, you're gonna find a better price on the flea market, but if you don't have the flea market yet, you're not gonna be able to do that. Now you unlock the flea market at level 10, and we'll go into that once we get the flea market unlocked on this account. There's no reason to go into it now because we can't even show it. So that is that. So once again, no tasks for him until we get later on. But Skier, he does have a task. It is unlocked at level 5, but you need to spend 800k to Skier. It is actually fairly difficult to level up his loyalty with the money spent because he doesn't really pay much for anything and he kind of sucks. But yeah, so we got Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is the, I would say he's the English trader. I mean, not English, but American trader. He actually will only allow you to buy things using dollars. And when you sell to him, he gives you dollars. The normal form of currency in this game is rubles, which is a Russian form of currency. And then there also is euros as well, which are pretty much useless. But on this one, we still can't unlock anything. And we'll go into how to unlock him further on in the Tarkov 101 series. Mechanic, another really, 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 really important trader to level up. Mechanic, you need to sell 750k to be able to unlock him, as well as level 20 to get to the reputation level 2. It's fairly easy with mechanic. You're going to sell a lot of stuff to mechanic, and we'll go over who to sell to and why later on in the series. But for tasks, you need gunsmith part 1, and we need to be level 2, which is really easy. We should be able to get to level 2 once we search a few more things. We're probably almost there. Yep, level 2. We just did it. All right, so now we can accept that, and we can also accept introduction. Now, introduction is how we're going to unlock Jaeger, which this is a woods task. When we first start out, you guys, we're going to be doing a lot of different maps and stuff, and we'll go into that later. Ragman, we need to be level 15 to unlock his tasks, but definitely you want to examine these items, as if you try to examine these items in raid, it's going to take forever, and you will find very quickly that the faster you can loot something, the better you are going to be at this game, because looting is such a important skill. So now, since we've gone through the traders, what they do, certain traders only buy certain things. So this trader, Ragman, buy these little hats, they'll buy armor, they'll buy fleeces, basically anything that you can wear, Ragman will buy. We're going to sell all this stuff because we don't need it. Don't sell those. So mechanic will sell and buy weapons, parts, magazines, ammunition, and that's pretty much it. So anything that has to do with the weapon system itself. Peacekeeper buys a lot of random stuff, mostly weapons parts and weapons, but he'll also buy armor, and I think just armor, and he'll also buy like computer parts. Skier is mostly just like grenades, weapons parts, weapons, and basically the same thing as Peacekeeper, but he will buy, or he will sell rigs. Skier's weird. Skier's the weirdest one. And they've changed this here recently. I believe it was 2 wipes ago. It used to be a little bit different. I like the way it is now better. It makes more sense, but it's different. It's different. And then therapist, like I said, she'll buy food, drink, meds. Prapper is kind of all over the place himself. He's just kind of all over the place. But yeah, now we're going to go into the hideout. The hideout is extremely important. You do want to focus on your hideout as a new player. It's going to be a form of income. It's going to be a form of being able to get quest items. It's very, very, very important. One of the first things that you're going to want to build is your generator. Now, they just changed this. You used to be able to start up your generator at the very beginning. You cannot now. You need a spark plug. This is going to be one of the first items that we're going to be looking for. It's going to be our first task item, if you will, but it will be for the hideout and not an actual task. Illumination, you need 10K to construct. If you're on the standard edition of the game, I highly recommend waiting to do all of these things, because you're going to be very, very broke. With this account, I think you get 1 million rubles. I think you start off with $1 million, $500,000. Start off with 500,000 rubles. So 10K, not that big of a deal. Once again, med station, you need 20K. It's instant. Health regeneration rate plus 27. Definitely going to want to add this as well. If you have the EOD version, security. Once again, you're going to want to do this, and vents, 25K. Do that. Now, if you guys, once again, if you have the standard edition, wait until you have some money. Wait until you get a little bit better at the game before you do this. The health center one is really the only one I recommend doing. But we're going to go ahead and do all the ones that we can now. Now that we've done that, we can actually look at our med station, and we can actually start crafting Saluas right off the bat, which, if you do remember, we need for the therapist task line. But we cannot build it because it's impossible to start production without fuel in the generator, which, once again, is why we need to upgrade and construct the generator, and we need that said spark plug. So that's going to be one of your first things that you're going to want to do, is be able to find that spark plug. So we're actually I'm going to show you one of the most important things that you're going to learn here today. And that is how to do an offline raid. An offline raid is essentially practice. That's all it is. It's practice. And truly, you guys, it's one of the most important things that you're going to learn as a starting player, because practice is good. Because you're not going to lose. You can't lose gear. If you die, you didn't lose anything. If you lose, or if you leave with gear, you don't get to keep it. It's just practice. So right here we have the beginning. We can pick interchange, woods, customs, factory, reserve, shoreline, whatever. I recommend starting out with either customs or woods or shoreline. These three maps are going to be good maps to start off with. They're very easy to learn maps. Woods is probably the most difficult to learn, but once you learn it, it's probably the best. Customs, you're going to run into a lot of players, but it's easiest to learn. And shoreline is kind of a mix between the two. It's kind of hard to learn. Sometimes you'll run into players, but there's really good loot. Same thing with woods. Customs is hit or miss. For the sake of this, we're going to just go into customs, as that's the map that I'm going to be teaching you first, because most of the beginning tasks are on customs. So down here is a select time phase, and this one says 14. This is 2. This is military time, you guys. So 14 is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 2 o'clock is 2 o'clock in the morning. Unless you want to not be able to see, you're going to want to hit the daytime. So since we are currently trying to do an offline raid, we're going to click this, but we're going to go into how to get into a regular raid first. That way we cover that on this episode. So here is your ensure option. This is extremely important to do, you guys. When you go into a raid, you don't necessarily need to do the eyewear and face cover, but your armor, your gun, your rig, all of this stuff you're going to want to ensure. Now, you can click this button right here and ensure all. That's what I normally do because I don't really care. Starting off, you might want to select and pick certain things that you want to ensure if you don't have enough money. But you're going to go down here and hit ensure. And are you sure you want to ensure these select items? Yes. Now, insurance works like this. If someone doesn't loot this gear, you get it back. If anyone in the raid takes it and leaves the raid, it has to be an actual player or a player scav, which we'll go into that as well. You get that stuff back if they don't take it. Now, the things that you don't get is consumables, ammunition, heals, food, water, things like that. You don't actually get back. Now, you'll get the magazines back, but you won't get the ammo. So be aware of that. But yeah, so then you'll hit next again. And then this is your prepare to escape. This is where you can find your friends. And we'll go into that sort of thing later on. But once you're ready, you'll hit ready. Now, don't do it just yet because we need to do an offline raid. So you can enable offline mode for this raid. You can select random weather conditions or random time. I recommend not doing that. You can enable PvE, AI difficulty as online, AI mount as offline. Always hit enable bosses because this will allow the scav bosses to come in, and then you can hit ready. So once this loads in, we'll go ahead and come back and I'll show you guys the basics of Tarkov. All right, so we are deploying in now, you guys. So we are here on customs. This is the spawn up by the power tower here. We'll go ahead and pull up a map here for you so you can see. Once again, this is an offline raid. We're just going to show you the ins and outs of what you can do in a raid, how to do it, and all that fun stuff. So the biggest thing you guys are going to want to do at the very beginning of the raid is set your hotkeys for your meds. Now you can do this while you're in your hideout, which I recommend doing. I'm just doing this in the raid because quite frankly I forgot to do it. So what I do is, so you'll put your mouse cursor over the item that you want to hotkey, and then you hit the button that you want to hotkey. So you'll have the option of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0. So what I do is I always do my HP one for 4, and then my heavy bleeds for 5. I don't have any heavy bleed stuff here, which is fine. And then the rest I just kind of do random. That's the way that I do it. I don't really have a good system for it, but it is what it is. So being in an offline raid, none of this counts. None of it matters. Get used to the mechanics, get used to jumping, get used to running, get used to your ADS, get used to clicking the gun. Now, if you click B, it'll change your fire rate mode from auto to single fire. So that's going to be very, very useful. Knowing when to be on full auto and when not is important. If you get really good, you can just leave it on full auto and single shot, but that takes some time. So there's a lot of things that you can do in Tarkov. One is you can lay down. Another is you can actually, so you can lean when you're laying down. This is kind of like Rainbow Six or Counter-Strike, where you can actually do leans, but you can actually slow lean, and you can do this by hitting Alt, A, and D. And then there is also a like lay down lean thing, right? You can do this like crazy thing, and that is Alt, Q, and E. There's also slow lean up the top. You can do a step left and right, which is Alt, Q, and E, and slow leans Alt, A, and D. But you can also just do a regular quick lean with Q and E as well. If you hit Alt W, it'll do that thing. And you can do that, right? It's really handy in certain situations, and you can also do it to the right. It's like a blind fire type thing. Very useful. R is to reload. C is to crouch. Space is to jump. And then here's your inventory tab here. This is where you're going to be able to see everything that you need. So over here is the gas station of customs. This is what this is here, the DP fuel. So we'll just go ahead and jump over this rail here. And there should be some scavs here. I'm going to try to get into a fight and not die so I can show you how meds and stuff work. No scavs. Anyway, we can show you searching and stuff like that. So this is a weapons crate right here. You can actually loot these. So you'll go up to it and hit F. Now this will bring you to your inventory, and he will take a minute to start searching. But once again, you can hit the mouse button to be able to examine the items. Before you actually put it into onto your character, you actually need to examine the item. But you can actually click and drag over to where you need it to be, or you can do it quickly by hitting Alt and left click, which is what I always do. And then for these, you would do Control left click. It'll automatically put it into your inventory here. Now you can do the same thing to put it back. Control click. Do that. Or you can do this. This takes a lot longer, but it works. It's all up to you. But as you can see down here, on our hydration and our energy, it's already gone down 10 points for our hydration and 12 points for our energy. As a low-level player, your skills are very important, and they go down very, very fast. Or they go up fast, but all of this stuff goes down super fast as well when you first start out. You are a huge disadvantage when you first start playing this game. Huge disadvantage. And it's meant to be that way. Experienced players don't have to worry about food and water in a raid 99% of the time, especially level 60 and above. Those guys don't have to really worry about anything. As long as they're somewhat hydrated and have energy at the beginning of the raid, golden. Don't even have to worry about it. But you're going to. So we just ran far enough that our stamina has gone all the way down on the bottom left. Typically speaking, when you're playing this game, you do not want your stamina to go down below the green. So right now it's in green, as you can see on the bottom left. It's going up right next to my shoulder here. So when you run, once you get into the yellow, which will be starting here probably about now, you're going to want to see, it went into the red. Now we're breathing heavy. There is no yellow anymore, apparently. Maybe there never was. I don't know. So you're always going to want to stay in the green because that heavy Heavy breathing, A, gives away your position, but it also, say someone would shoot at me when I couldn't run. Well, now you can't run. So that always sucks. But also, as you guys can see, there are 2 green tabs there on the bottom left. I am covering it up just a little bit. I do apologize. But so now that we're ADSing, we're using our arm stand, which is the top green bar. That is very important to see. Also, you can hold your breath. Mine is shift key. I'm not sure. I think it's control for everyone else, like standard. But that is a important game mechanic that you're going to need to know. I'm just trying to find a scav so I can get shot. So if we need to fast forward it, fast forward it. Scabby scav. Should be a bunch over here. Really? All right, so just like in Call of Duty, you can take fall damage. That works. That's kind of what I wanted to do. So now that we're injured, we now have on the top left, you can see the character's got red legs, which means his legs are damaged. And we also like hobble around now, and I'm pressing shift. I can't run because we do have a broken leg. So if we pull up our tab, we have a right leg, we're in pain, and we have a fracture. Now, so we can't move, right? Well, if you take a painkiller, which I hit 5 to be able to hotkey on that, now our screen is back to normal and we can run. But as you can see, we're taking damage. And we're making a bunch of noise. So you can still run, but you're still going to take damage. And that's no good. So we're going to show you how to fix that. So if you take the splint here and put it onto the leg, or you can just right click and hit use, or you can use your hotkey. What we're going to do here, hit 6 or 7, and now we're putting a splint on our leg, which fixes our leg. Right? There it goes. We still have pain, but we're on painkillers, so it doesn't matter. Now we can heal the HP by using the cheese. You can drag it over to whichever one that you want, or you can use your hotkey. That works too. But this will only heal 50 HP at a time. So we'll go ahead and fix up the other leg. And that's how you use meds. We're not really going to go over like where to go or anything like that. I'm just trying to go over the very, very basic mechanics of Tarkov. And I would really like to find a scav just to kill one. But apparently they're not spawning in. Sometimes they bug out and they don't spawn in. I didn't mean to do that. So hit the cheese. Fixing the leg. This is an extraction point right here. As you can see, when you double hit O, your extraction points will come up on the top left of the screen. You're going to learn these extraction points, and we're going to go over all of them in further detail later on into the series once we actually start doing raids. But once again, this is a fantastic way to learn the game, learn the mechanics before going actually into an actual raid. Because, man, if you're trying to learn the game while trying to kill players and scavs, it makes it very difficult. So we're going to go ahead and extract here. This is a 7-second extraction time. This is rough roadblock. This extraction point is bugged sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't actually extract you. I think they did fix it here recently, but I'm not positive on that. So we survived. We got 6,000 XP or 9,000 XP. None of this is actually going to stay. So all this, it's now gone. Nothing happened. That cheese that we used, it'll be fine. Everything's golden, right? So now we're going to go into how to do a scav run how it works, and when you're going to want to utilize this. So Scav Runs, you guys utilize as a new player literally every single time that you go into a PMC raid. Do a Scav Run after it. Every time. Just get in the habit of always doing your Scav Run. When you pull up the game, do a Scav Run first for a warm-up. A Scav Run is a randomly generated character. So he has random gear. You get one for free every 18 minutes, I believe. And if you die, nothing happens. But if you extract, you get to keep all the gear and all the things that you looted. For Scav Runs, I recommend Woods, if you know Woods. Also, Customs, Shoreline. Reserve is a very, very big Scav map. There's a lot of really good loot on Reserve. I don't do it just because it takes forever to load in most of the time, and I'm not a big fan of Reserve, to be honest. The servers on Reserve aren't very good, just because the map's so big and there's so much loot. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to go to Customs. We can hit next, and this will put you in so you can find a friend or get into another group. Do not start looking for group and accept random people's invites. They will kill you. They will kill you immediately. As soon as you spawn in, they'll kill you. I guarantee it. Every time. So you got to watch out for that. But this is how you do a Scav Run. Just hit ready. Go into a raid. And you'll probably die. And you'll try to look for the extraction point. And you'll go from there. Okay. So now that you've died on your Scav Run. Or whatever. If you extracted, you can put all your stuff back into your inventory. If you died, nothing negative happens to you. You just can't do your Scav Run for another 17 minutes or whatever. This is actually a pretty beefy Scav. He's not bad. But yeah, so that is going to be the first episode of Tarkov 101. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, I'm going to try to respond to literally every question that has been posted. And if you guys are watching these, or if you're experienced player and you just happen to stumble across it and you see someone's questions, feel free to answer questions. Please don't be a troll. That's not what this is for. We're here to learn and try to figure out this game together, because I'm learning every day as well. I'm learning every single day as well when it comes to this game. And it's just it's a very very difficult game, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's a hell of a lot of fun once you figure it out. All right, guys, that's going to be it for episode 1 of Tarkov 101. I got a little bit tired at the end of this. I actually recording this later on. It was a long day. I had actually wiped my hardcore account before I started recording that video, and I was a little upset. Hopefully you guys learned some things. Our next episode, we're actually going to be going into some raids. We're going to be trying to do some tasks. It's going to be a little bit more action-packed. This first video is more just for like the true beginners who have never even touched Tarkov before. It's going to be a fun series, and I really hope you guys enjoy the content. If you guys haven't, make sure you do hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell, do the whole social thing. And if you guys have any comments, please make sure you throw it down. If you guys have any questions, I will get with everyone on every single comment on the YouTube. So make sure you guys do that. But that is going to be it. Court is now adjourned. See you guys.